Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. My husband and I were recently able to potty train our first daughter, and I wanted to make a video about how we actually went about doing that, being first-time parents who had no idea what we were doing and were scared to do it, in a non-nonsense, practical sort of way to help anyone out there who's going through this and who's struggling to potty train their stubborn toddler. So if this is you, I hope this can help you and join us for the ride. I was terrified to do it. I didn't know what to do first and how to get her there, and I felt like it was going to take forever, and maybe I couldn't even do it. I didn't even know where to start, and I didn't feel confident about doing it at all. But I owe a big thanks to my good friend who has a little boy who is a little bit older than my daughter, and I was able to go have a play date with them, and she showed me exactly what she was doing, and that was like what I needed to get started. And she encouraged me, and that's what I did to get started. And I'll tell you what it was. The first thing you're going to want to do is to get a potty that your child will be happy with. I made a video about what products are essentials for potty training, and you can check that out. And you can see what we actually used. But get a potty that they like and that they will be excited about, and they can get acclimated with it and just learn how it works and, make a connection between that potty and the actual toilet. Once they're acclimated to it and they've played with it and you put it in the bathroom so that they make that connection, you can ask them if they want to sit on it and try it out. If they're adamant about not wanting to do it, I recommend just wait a little bit longer because they might not be ready. But for our daughter, she was excited. She wanted to try it. And we started to change her diapers and the bathroom as well, so that she would make the connection of when you go, this is where you take care of it. At the same time that they're trying their potty and getting used to it, you can start wearing pull-ups, which are really great because they are sort of a half step between a baby diaper and underwear, and because you can pull it down and up, and they can practice that, which is really important. And it was tough for us at first because our daughter was not used to having to do that on her own, so it took us a while to get her to actually do it. But once she figured it out and she knew that she could do it, then it was no problem. But it's important that they're able to pull it down and up. And also, I would say to make sure that their underwear is not tight, because that will make it that much more difficult. The next thing we did, which is what my friend recommended to me, is to have a few days where you're home the whole time, like 2 or 3 days where you're just going to be there, not going to go anywhere, and have them go with only a shirt, no bottoms. And put the potty in the room that they're going to spend the most time in. And we did that. We had her go just with a shirt for 3 or 4 days. My husband and I work from home, so it's not a huge deal. So it would be difficult if you work outside of the home, but maybe have a 3-day weekend or something like that where you're going to have that time. And we had her sit on it as much as she could take it, like just the whole day if she could, and play around it. And we placed towels under it just in case she would have an accident. We tried to catch it with the towels so it'd be easier to clean up. Obviously, you're going to have accidents when it's their first time, but that is extremely important for them to sort of get the idea of what happens when they pee. And, they need to have that experience so that they understand, especially because the diapers they've been wearing are usually pretty good about keeping them dry, so they wouldn't even understand that they're wet or what have happened. They might have just been too distracted to even notice it. So they need those few days to understand what was going on. And if they can spend a lot of the time sitting down, or you can ask them to sit down as much as they can take it, eventually they're going to hit it. They're going to be able to pee in the potty. And that will cement even further the idea of what they should be doing. And they'll be so excited once they get it right. I mean, at least my daughter was super excited, and she wanted to keep succeeding and keep making it. So it was exciting to see her do that. It's also important that they understand how unpleasant it is to go without taking care of it. They need to experience that to understand why they want to do it in the toilet. They can be pretty overwhelmed when they don't make it. they will be disappointed in themselves as well if they're ready. I didn't want to make it that much of a big deal when she had an accident, as much as I tried not to. And for the first few days, she mostly missed. But whenever she got it right, we made a huge deal, and she was super excited. And we had her, help us pour it in the toilet and clean it and wash her hands. And it was a whole ritual, and she loved it. And having that process over and over again really helps. They will be frustrated, and that can set them back, and that's not what you want. Just say, oops, we gotta clean it up, and you can have them help clean it up, and you don't need to be so overwhelmed about it. I am such an overthinker, and I was anxious, and every time we had a bad day, I would go to my husband and be like, oh my goodness, this is never gonna happen, like she's never gonna make it, and I'm so scared, I can't do this, I can't help her. And obviously that was crazy, but that was how I was feeling at the moment. And my husband is the cool-headed person in this family, so he was always like, you're crazy, like this is gonna work, we just got to keep trying. He didn't actually say that I was crazy, but you get the idea. We didn't do much rewarding just because we didn't feel that we needed it, but we did give her a few stickers, and she was excited about that, but it wasn't like a real routine sort of thing. It was just like, oh, that's fun, like let's get a sticker. But I didn't feel that the rewards were that important. It just sort of happened, and she wanted to get it right. If your child is ready, they should want to succeed. They should want to get it right, just because it's uncomfortable. No one wants to be wearing a diaper. I was terrified that I would be constantly cleaning messes and that my house was gonna turn out terrible, but it really wasn't all that bad. Their bladder is so small, they only hold a little bit of liquid, and especially if you see the accident happening and you can rush them to the potty and get a little bit of it in there, it's not going to be that huge of a deal for you to clean up. I was really freaking out about nothing, because it wasn't all that bad. I didn't have to clean that many messes, and I only had to clean poop like once, and it was a little bit, and it was on the towel, so it wasn't a huge deal. I was terrified that I was going to have to clean poop all the time, but actually my daughter was able to poop in the toilet basically every single time since we started, and she wanted to do that because I believe that going on a diaper was more uncomfortable for her, and she didn't like to feel dirty and stuff, so she was more willing to do that. And I completely understand that it can feel so overwhelming to have to clean up if you have a bad day, because you can have really good days where your kid is doing really well, and then they'll have a terrible day when they have messes all the time, and that can be really overwhelming, and you can feel like you're taking a step forward and 3 steps back. But trust me, that was me, and I was freaking out every single day for no reason. So just take it day by day, and you're gonna make it. After those first few days where we kept the potty in the room where she was spending the most time in, and she was only wearing a shirt, she got a pretty good idea what it was like to go. We moved the potty into the bathroom, and we have her wear pull-ups, no pants, and try to go every 30 minutes or so. And we would go and say, let's go try in the potty, and sometimes she wouldn't want to, and that's when we would reward her sometimes if she tried. But I think the intervals were a little bit too short, because anyone would get sick of it if they have to stop what they're doing every 30 minutes to go. And looking back, I think I should have gone straight to underwear, because the pull-up felt a lot like a diaper, so she would just go pee there. She would only want to go poop on the potty. Once we felt more ready, we had the intervals be a little more stretched out, every hour or 2 hours, and that was enough, and she started to get the idea. But she got pretty comfortable wearing that pull-up, and she wouldn't go just because it was a hassle. So that's when we realized we should have gone straight to underwear. So we started wearing just underwear, no pants. And that, at first she would pee under her underwear because it felt like a pull-up or a diaper. Then she would still go in the potty, but not pull down her underwear. So it took a while for us to teach her to, like, you have to pull it down, and this is how it works. It took a little bit. Looking back, it really didn't take all that long, but it felt like a really long time. And then, like, every time we hit, like, we get over something and then there's something else, and it feels like that. But it's, looking back, it really wasn't that huge of a deal, and she got it pretty fast. After that, you just keep, rinse and repeat, and eventually they're going to start to learn their cues a lot better, and they'll get more practice, and it'll just be natural. They will be able to understand their bodies and what they feel, and they don't want to have an accident. Eventually we started wearing pants again, and she was still able to pull it down, and she understood it, and it just worked. So it's really just keep trying, keep asking, keep teaching. But I would say that if they're regressing a lot, they're having a lot of trouble, they're really angry or just upset a lot, if they can't get it right, or if they're sick, or if they just had a new sibling, which we will in a few months' time, it's better just to take a break. Go back to wearing your pull-up, and just for all of you to have a little peace of mind, and just take a couple of weeks and let everybody rest, and then you can try again. We did do that for a little bit. I don't remember exactly what happened. Maybe she was sick and we decided to take a little break. But after that, it was just supernatural, and it just worked. Once we felt pretty confident that she could go at home, we knew we needed to get to the next step, which was to get out of the house. And I was worried about that. I didn't know if we were going to make it, but we started to go on short trips. Like, we'd go to lunch, and she made it just fine, no problem. And we ask her to go before we leave the house, and it works pretty nicely if we haven't asked her shortly before. But she's really excited when she goes and it works. She says, like, oh, it's working, I'm doing it. And that allows us to be out for quite a bit of time and have no problem. We also have a portable toilet seat for those cases where we are out for a long period of time. We went to a trip to the aquarium, and I took it and I had her go there, but it didn't work because she didn't need to go. But it's nice to have that practice, and I can take her to church, and she's able to be totally fine without a diaper. And it just felt very natural. And looking back, I really feel that I was freaking out over very little. But obviously everyone's experience is going to be different. And we've also let her be in my mom's house for an extended period of time. She's had a few accidents there a few times, but eventually she understood it, and she has a potty there where she can go, and it has become easier and easier every time. And today we feel pretty confident just to take her anywhere and to have her be in the house, and she's fine. She's a pro. It is not that occasionally we won't have an issue just because she was super excited about the thing that she was doing and she totally forgot, or but those are very few and far between, and it's nothing to be real concerned about. I know it can feel overwhelming because I did feel like every time something went wrong, we were being set back, but it's not like that. Success is not linear. It's not a straight line. You're going to have really good days and bad days, and that's totally normal. But if you are concerned with anything, you should go to your pediatrician. It's really not the best approach to compare your child with other children, just because every kid is going to be so different, and maybe there's nothing to worry about. Maybe they just need a little more time. I am expecting a little bit of regression when my baby is born, just because as a new sibling, things are going to be different. But I don't expect things to be that much worse because everyone will adjust. We will all adjust to having a new member in our family. Now, before we finish, I will say my daughter's age just for argument's sake and just to mention it. But I don't want you to stress so much about the age, because I was stressing when I was looking up all the articles about potty training, and there was so many of them that were saying that, kids are potty trained at 18 months. And I think that's kind of crazy, because I don't think that my daughter understood anything well enough to go at 18 months. So we started when she was about 2 and 3 months, maybe, by just getting her acclimated to her underwear and the potty and everything. And we did those first few days without bottoms when she was 2.5, or, and then we did it again a few months later. So the whole process took about 6 months, but I believe it could have been shorter just if I wasn't so scared. So if I had just done it, we probably would have been done a lot quicker. But it took about 6 months. So my daughter just turned 3 recently. So she was done right before she was 3. But, if you're concerned, talk to your doctor. And it's no problem to really have a discussion with your friends or anything like that. But if they're suggesting that, your child is behind or anything, that will just make you stressed. So that's why I say, go to your pediatrician. They can help you. They know your kid. They've helped lots and lots of kids go through this. So this is it for this video. I hope this was helpful to you and that you feel more confident and encouraged to go and potty train your stubborn child as a first-time parent, and you can rock it, and your kid's gonna be a pro at going, and it's all gonna work out. You just gotta keep trying. So if this was helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.